There are certain use cases where you need a lot, pretty much infinite output from large language models like ChatGPT without having to prompting it again and again with the same request. In most cases where it is required, the user is trying to keep an initial prompt template but introduce variations to it through additional inputs prior to each generated output. An example can be that you are creating a synonym website and want to create URLs for each page, something like http colon slash slash my synonym example site.com slash sad slash synonym slash unhappy and http colon slash slash my synonym example site slash sad slash synonym slash depressed and so on. Now, ideally, you would like to tell the large language model the template to generate the URL, and then you only want to provide the main word and get a list of URLs for all possible synonyms of main word in one go. The way to go about it is to use a prompt engineering technique called the infinite generation prompt pattern. Note this video is part of the video series Prompt Engineering via Prompt Patterns on Learn Awesome, covering some amazing techniques like this one and the template pattern we just used in our example. So the key statements for this pattern look like: I would like you to generate output forever, X outputs at a time. Here's how to use the input I provide between outputs. Stop when I ask you to. The first statement specifies that user wants large language model to generate output indefinitely, which essentially means the same prompt would be used over and over. The X outputs at a time helps to avoid memory or limit overrun of the model in case the output produced are so many that they exceed output limit. The limit can be user requirement as well to keep things manageable. The second statement instructs how input provided by user between outputs is going to be used. This allows user to introduce variations or custom input to alter the initial prompt in some intended way, essentially coming up with a prompting strategy that produces desired output based on user input in between outputs. The output would still be generated in context of original input, but user input between outputs would be used to alter it in an intended way. The third statement is just providing an optional way for user to stop the infinite output process. This is strictly optional and situation dependent. If the word stop can be interpreted as user feedback between outputs, then user should specify a magic word to put the ChatGPT outputs to an end with that word or phrase. Taking the synonym example discussed earlier, we can come up with an initial prompt which would combine the template pattern with infinite output pattern like below. From now on, you would be generating URLs for synonyms of input words I provide using a template I provide for the output. Everything in all caps is a placeholder. You would continue to prompt me for next input word until I say, please stop. Please preserve the formatting and overall template that I provide. The template is http colon slash slash my synonym example site slash input in all caps slash synonym slash the placeholder synonym in all caps. Now, large language model like ChatGPT would continue to generate URLs for synonyms and prompting you for the next word until you say, please stop. I deliberately introduce the word input from user to convey the user input point. Otherwise, you can simply modify it to generate URLs for each word in dictionary, say 10 at a time, until you say stop. The template would need slight change and it would work as expected. Right? This is it for the infinite generation pattern. If you found this informative, please like and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.